It's been a long time, but welcome back to State of the Station. What have I been up to? Well, as you may or may not know, I have two video shows besides this one. One has to do with this, and the other one has to do with this. They're kind of secretive right now, so I don't really want to get into what they are, what they're about. I have started planning them. I've started mapping out episodes, but there are a couple things that are holding me back from doing them at the moment. One is I bought some new lights. I do have some lights right now, but they're big, huge, cumbersome, hot, terrible things that I hate setting up. I've bought some new, beautiful LED lights, tiny, small, a whole bunch of them. It's going to look great. So those are on back order right now, but they've been promised to come in any second. It says mid-June, and it's mid-June tomorrow, I guess. The other thing that's holding me back is that I've been doing a documentary. It's called A Perfect 14. It's a featured documentary film about the plus-size modeling industry. Here's some graphics for it. You can take a look at it at perfect14.com. Just finishing up post-production on it right now. So we're getting very close to the end, and I can't wait. I'm very excited. Once that is done, it'll free up a lot more time for this show, plus the other two shows that I do have names for, but I'm still not going to announce them because I'm still setting things up, and I don't want you guys poking around and finding things before it's time. But let's get into the continuing series that I call So You Want to Be a DJ. And I'm referring to being a DJ, not with turntables, directly in a club. I'm talking about being a DJ on Rant. And these are just simple tips and tricks to make yourself sound the best you can be. And in today's episode, we're going to go over microphones, including this one. But we're going to start with the don'ts, the no, stop, please, no, don't use these terrible microphones. So we're going to get rid of this one and bring on the first one. Okay, this one is a joke, but you can actually use headphones to, I'm just checking the level here. You can actually use headphones as microphones. I absolutely do not recommend it. Now, these are fairly decent headphones, but even the best headphones make terrible, terrible microphones, because all microphones is vibrations being turned into signal, and headphones are signal being turned into vibration that goes into your ears. So you can actually use headphones, which are totally differently constructed from microphones, to output sound, to actually input sound. But never, ever, ever do it. It's terrible and not recommended. If it's the only thing you have, don't do it. Especially if all you have are earbuds. This is even worse. I don't even know what this sounds like, but I'm sure it's absolutely terrible. The levels are really low, and I'm gonna have to crank these up. So yeah, don't do it. Just put the headphones down. You probably didn't even know this worked, but it does work. So just please don't. Let's move on to some actual microphones. Next up is this piece of garbage. Let me put it on my ear. This at least is in the realm of a real microphone, but don't use it unless you have to use it. It is terrible. It doesn't even stay on my ear. This is like how may I direct your call kind of level. It's very uncomfortable. It's terrible. Okay. It's the lowest of the low. Avoid it. It's something you'd get free with your audio hardware, like a sound card or something. Most people don't even get sound cards nowadays. They're all built onto the motherboard, but these are like things you'd find in the trash bin, things you would buy for like $1 at the flea market. Avoid them at all costs. You can use them, but you're going to have to play with them to sound good at all. And they look embarrassing. They look like you're from the 90s. and you're walking around with your cell phone that's this big, it's terrible. It's like you have a Bluetooth on your head. Just avoid them. So yeah, don't use this. Terrible. Here's another one that you definitely don't want to use as well. Hopefully you can hear me. This is something that actually goes with a phone from yesteryear. It's got an earpiece as well. And it's got a little dangly thing here, which is the microphone. And it's going to sound terrible. It's going to sound all scratchy. And you can clip it to your shirt so that it doesn't wave all over the place in the wind while you're doing your important business call on your way to work. Can you hear me? I'm just coming out of the elevator right now. I'll be up. I think I've lost you. Can you hear me? Sorry. This is from like 10 years ago, so don't use this. This is trash. The microphone is minuscule and garbagey. Throw it away as well. Don't use free microphones. That's pretty much the lesson here. Okay, this one falls under the category of where did you find this and why are you using this? I don't know if anybody can figure out what this is before I tell them what it is. This comes with stereo amplifiers, home amplifiers. What you do is plug this in, place it in the room where the position where you're going to sit to listen to your stereo, and it'll automatically configure your stereo system. Now, this is a microphone, but it is not for recording you. This is for recording high-pitched noises that can equalize your stereo. Technically, it is a microphone. Technically, it falls under free again, and free equals no. Just say no to free microphones, even though the amplifier could cost anywhere from $200 to $2,000. This is very single-purpose microphone. This is not for your voice, and it is terrible once again. Now, the money you're paying for this one is very low, and you probably found it in a bargain bin at a secondhand store. Now, some good indicators of its low quality is that it has an on-off switch on it. Now, this is a Radio Shack branded microphone, which you've definitely found in a secondhand bin in a secondhand store for, in the dollar range, because Radio Shack is pretty much no more. There might be separate stores here and there, but it is a gone store. It is an old microphone. It is terrible. But this is, a trusted microphone that I used back in the day for the What the Hell show when I needed like 6 or 8 microphones to pass around. So this would be at the lowest end that you would want to use. And you could probably get away with it if you had a proper windscreen and the proper EQing, and you knew how to position it right and all that other kind of stuff. You could probably you can hear my popping my P's and everything. Another thing is that I'm going to show you that is generally a bad sign is this coming up. Now I'm going to show you what I'm recording into. It is a portable recorder, which is handy dandy. I'm going to unplug it and show you what is also a sign of you shouldn't be buying this microphone, but it's just a general guide. Now, what you're going to hear now is actually sound from the camera, which is also not what you want to do. So now you're hearing sound from my actual camera. And the reason that you don't want to use on-camera sound, I don't know why I'm holding this anymore, just for fun. Now, the reason you don't want to use on-camera sound is that it's very far away. You get this echo. The sound is bouncing off the walls before it gets to the camera. It's terrible. So this is what I wanted to show you. This thing, this 1/4-inch plug. It's an indicator of low quality. It doesn't mean it's low quality, but it's an indicator if it comes standard from the microphone. So avoid these kind of things if you can. And we're going to take a step up to the next level of microphones without this and without the on-off switch. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Now this is something that you could use. This one happens to be a Sennheiser E840, just an old microphone that I have kicking around. It's more of a, yeah, you could use it for this. It's more of a stage microphone. You know, good solid construction. You can drop it, throw it around, good for performing live. But the thing is you want to look for is this at the end, this connector. Let me just disconnect it. I'll probably have to mute this terribleness. There. This is what you want to look for a connector. This is a sign that you're stepping up into the real world, because this is what plugs into, you know, mixing boards and high-end recording equipment, stuff like that. This one is a good microphone. No on-off switch, which is nice because people are going to be controlling the audio from a mixing board, muting from there. You're not going to get this clicking, terrible noise from switching your microphone on and off. It's not really, you know, something for the radio, but it's going to be really good and it's going to sound pretty decent. Hopefully it's going to sound decent. Oh, I am peaking a bit. I apologize. I'm not watching my levels. Normally when you are recording for radio, you would have some headphones on, you know, some Sennheiser to match your Sennheiser microphone as well. So let's move on to good but inappropriate microphones. Now we're into the realm of good microphones but totally inappropriate microphones. Now what I'm wearing right now is a lav mic, a Sony lav mic going into a Sennheiser transmitter, going wirelessly into the receiver and into the recorder. This is overkill. You would never use this on the radio. This is for filming. It's for doing on-location things where the camera is far away from the microphone and you're recording at the camera. Anyway, don't use this. It's overkill. I don't know why you'd be using this. I'm just showing it so that you don't use it, even though you would never use it. So yeah, lesson learned, right? Boom in the shot. So this next one is beyond ridiculous. This is something that you would use for filming. This is a shotgun mic on what would be a boom pole if you put a boom pole in this. I have one over there, and a dead cat on top of it to cut down wind. Now you would never ever use this in a DJ kind of situation. There's lots of floatiness happening here with all the little particles coming off this. Now this is a very, very good microphone, and I'm gonna do a jump cut to the actual microphone in a second. It is very directed, it is very high quality, and it would only be used for really on a film set because it's not really appropriate for doing a DJ show. Let me just jump cut to what it looks like. Here it is naked. It's another Sennheiser. As you can see, very impractical, very ridiculous. Very high quality. It probably sounds pretty good. Although this distance is not really what it's meant for. I'm trying to keep my voice a little bit low, and I have turned it down quite a bit because it's meant for very laser focused. It is a unidirectional microphone, so it picks up exactly. It doesn't get anything around here. You probably can't hear my computer as well. So it's very good for that, for pinpoint direction. But completely impractical for doing shows on the internet. So don't use this. You won't have it because it is very specific and very expensive as well. So let's move on to actual practical microphones. Again, let's jump back to those. Okay, now this is more of what you would be expecting from a higher quality microphone setup. This one is AKG C214. This one is on the higher end, so you're going to be spending a little bit more money on this, but it is absolutely worth it for the sound quality. And this is probably the setup that you'll want. Let me just move this a little bit down so you can see my mouth. This is more of the kind of setup that you would want for doing a radio show, something that you can do with hands off because you don't want to be actually touching the microphone. Because when you're touching the microphone and you've got rings or your hand is rubbing on the microphone, you can hear it a lot. Just go back to the What the Hell show where I'm constantly complaining about I can hear somebody messing with their microphone and it drives me crazy. So even back then I was very concerned about the sound quality. So this is hands off. You don't need to touch it. And if you've got some other things in line with your microphone, some compressors, some limiters, expanders, you can really dial in the sound so it doesn't really trail off when you go back a bit or get too loud when you get close. So this is the high end of the setup. Oh, I touched it. See, you don't want to touch it. This is more of the high-end setup that you would want to be going for if you have a little bit more money or once you get into a little bit more. When you go to buy a microphone, look at reviews online, of course. Go in, bring some nice headphones with you when you want to test out and listen to the microphone, and find one that fits your voice. If you have a bassy voice, you want to get one that has picks up a little bit more bass. So, you know, you want to customize it to what you want to come across on the radio as. So that is the end of what I wanted to go over with microphones for you if you wanted to get into DJing and doing your own show on Rant Radio or somewhere else. It doesn't have to be on Rant Radio. We would just love you to come on board because we have something completely set up for you. It's turnkey. You just get on there and start broadcasting to the masses. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching this show and giving me great feedback and enjoying it. And I will definitely see you next time. And hopefully next time I will have some more updates on the other two YouTube shows and give you some updates on how they are progressing and maybe even give you hints on the names and what they're about, because I'll be really close probably next time. And probably, hopefully, less time in between doing these shows because I'll have the new lights. That's probably the next time you'll see me is with the new lights. I'll be doing some test runs here for the shows. So thank you for tuning in once again to State of the Station. Thank you for subscribing if you have. And you can reach me at info@rantradio.com, or you can send some packages or goodies or whatever you want to this address over on the left-hand side here. Or, you can just leave a comment below on the YouTube here. And we will see you next time. And thank you so much for tuning in.